Hello everyone, let's see about some of the causes for endometrial cancer. In endometrial cancer, the important key that one has to remember is the word unopposed estrogen. So what do we know by the term unopposed estrogen? Whenever there is only presence of estrogen, but we don't have a progesterone following the estrogen, that is, there is no progesterone produced in the body itself due to some reasons, or the production of estrogen is so high that there is no production of progesterone which is equal to the estrogen which is produced in the body. That is the term unopposed. The estrogen is not opposed by progesterone. So the unopposed estrogen is a major risk factor for endometrial cancer. Let's see about the causes. HRT. HRT stands for hormone replacement therapy. In HRT, the first half of the cycle we provide them with the estrogen, and the second half of the cycle it is provided with the progesterone. But accidentally or unintentionally, when the progesterone component is missed, that is when they are only taking the estrogen component, then that can present with endometrial cancer. The second thing is granulosa cell tumor. What is a granulosa cell? The granulosa cell is that which is present in the ovaries, which is present surrounding the ovum in the ovaries. So this granulosa cell will be producing aromatase. What is the role of aromatase? The role of aromatase is conversion of androgens to estrogen. So finally, in granulosa cell tumor, because of the excess proliferation of the granulosa cells, which is producing excess of aromatase, we have excess of estrogen, which is causing an endometrial cancer, because obviously the unopposed estrogen is the risk factor for endometrial cancer. So thirdly, what happens in PCOS? PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. In PCOS, there is no ovulation happening. Therefore, we are only exposed to the granulosa cells will be producing aromatase, and finally we have the estrogen. But only after the ovulation has happened, the granulosa cells will convert into granulosa lutein cells. That is, the ovum is being released from the ovary. Those granulosa cells now has to shed away and degrade, but for momentarily it will be staying in the ovary as granulosa lutein, and it will be producing progesterone for the next 14 days, that is in the luteal phase. I have a video on the menstrual cycle. It might be helpful if you want to catch up in this. So, but in PCOS, since the ovulation is not happened, the granulosa lutein cells are not formed. Therefore, we don't have the progesterone component. Therefore, there is increased unopposed estrogen leading to endometrial cancer. Finally, we have the Lynch syndrome, which is also known as HNPCC, hereditary non-polyposis colonic cancer, where we do have a colonic cancer but without any polyp. It is associated with some constellation of cancers, yet it is also associated with endometrial cancer. So I have a clue for this. Sometimes there are many colonic syndromes like APC, HNPCC, familial adenomatous polyposis. There's a lot of names, so it confuses me. So I remember the Lynch ladies lose their endometrium, something like this, just to make me aware that Lynch syndrome is the one which is associated with endometrial cancer. So how will this knowledge be tested? Not only in the exams, even during practice, you should know that whenever there is an overweight women in perimenopausal stage presenting with breakthrough bleeding. So overweight women, that is, it says that their BMI is abnormal, so it is very high, and therefore they can have PCOS, and they are already in that perimenopausal stage. They also present with the breakthrough bleeding. This is because of increased estrogen. This is because of increased endometrial layers which are being deposited because of estrogen. At one point, it breaks through and it results in bleeding. So we may not know that whether they have progressed to endometrial cancer. So therefore, the next best step is to do a biopsy before we treat the actual condition. How can the question be asked? Sometimes postmenopausal women is now presenting with vaginal bleeding. So whenever we have a term vaginal bleeding or breakthrough bleeding or anything, it means that the endometrium has been thick. When the endometrium is thick, it could have progressed to endometrial cancer. So before we treat whatever the causes, we need to do biopsy and eliminate endometrial cancer. That's the take home message with this video.